Hi guys, Darren here from LeBeau Tennis. Today I want to talk about how Roger Federer is able to naturally hit the ball with his forehand with a straight arm, as opposed to majority of players who hit the ball with a bent arm. If you're a kind of player who wants to try and develop that, and the difference is, I think, between contacting the ball with the bent arm and contacting the ball with a straight arm, is on the straight arm you're able to get more torque and more power, I'd say, because of the space that the racket can window wipe, if you like, through the ball, so you can accelerate and get more power. And I think that's the reason why Federer's forehand is such a dominant weapon. And there's an exercise that we can do. First of all, we're going to grab the racket, so the head of the racket on your racket dominant arm, and the butt of the racket with your non-dominant arm. Push it in, and then we're going to rotate, and then we are going to find our contact point, and you'll notice that my arm is straight and my chin is touching my shoulder, okay? And that's what Federer does well. So as he contacts there, his chin will touch, or his cheek will touch as he contacts the ball, and that keeps his head very still through the shot, like so, okay? So that's a really good practice to get your arm from the lag position to the contact nice and straight. So we're going to do a few of them. And you're looking at that contact point every time. Balls come in, contact point. And then we're going to transfer that with the take back and see if you can feel that same element. Just going to hold it on the contact point. You're not going to follow through yet. Taking the racket back, and then feel that chin, same thing. And you'll notice I'm taking the ball in front of me with the arm straight. I'm not like this. I'm like that. So you're keeping your wrist cocked back as well. So when you're in the lag position, you're showing the butt of the racket, and you're going to keep that wrist locked back. A lot of the times players will engage the wrist too early, so they'll start to pull the wrist. You want to keep that wrist pulled back, like someone has got a bit of string on the end of the racket and they're pulling it like that. They're pulling against it, and you have to pull against it, but trying to keep the racket and the wrist cocked back onto contact, okay? So that's really key. And as you hit, I'm in front, and that's when the wrist, the rotation cuff will turn. So you should have this feeling. But notice I'm not doing this. It's not close to my body. My elbow is not close to my body. My elbow is away from my body. Keep the wrist cocked back, and then the rotation and finish happens. So let's try a few. Let's go back to this again, just to get that feeling. Do a few of them. Nice and straight. Nice and straight. You can keep the racket upright into the lag position. And then same thing. Keeping that arm nice and straight. And then you get that feeling of the shoulder. That's really key. And the good thing to remember is when you take the racket back into the, I call it the apex position, you want to feel that elbow nice and bent. You can go high. A lot of people will do a higher take back. It doesn't matter. But make sure your elbow is away from your body, but nice and bent. You've got to feel that bend, because if you bend and then you go into the lag. That's when you start to straighten the arm in the lag position, and you keep that straight onto the contact. So that is a very handy exercise if you want to try and get the contact point with a straighter arm. The two elements. So keeping the arm straight, and then as you contact, you feel your shoulder is touching your chin or your cheek. You can really be intense on hitting that ball in the same contact point every time. Okay? Try that. Signing off. See you next time.